Hello, this is Anil Kumar from Back to the Bible radio broadcast. Today, Dr. John Neufeld takes us through the series, The Time of Your Life. Today's message is taken from the book of Ephesians, chapter 5, verses 15 to 17, entitled, The Preciousness of Time.
Well, we're not that far into a new year, and I think it's probably a pretty good time to talk about what is ultimately meaningful. You know, I know that years ago it was very popular to make New Year's resolutions. I don't know why it is, but for a number of reasons we don't hear very much of it anymore. Part of the reason must be because of what Solomon said. You know, the end of a matter is better than its beginning. It's another way of saying that is it's better to finish something well than it is to begin it well, or for that matter, it's easy to begin and it's hard to finish. So in terms of New Year's resolutions, well, I've always thought they're easy to make, they're easy to start, they're easy to quit, they're easy to never make again. But there is something else, and maybe that just maybe New Year's resolutions really don't accomplish everything that we might want them to. I mean, think about the kind of things we resolve. I mean, I commit this year to lose weight. 15 pounds are going to leave me this year. I commit to do more exercise. I commit to have more consistent devotions. I commit to treat my spouse better, my wife or my husband. I'm going to treat my children better. I'm going to finish off that project of redoing kitchen cabinets. I'm going to endeavor to stop sinning in the way that I have and destroying my relationship with God. I mean, those are the kind of things we say, and it's all good stuff. But in truth, most resolutions, even though they're pretty good, often are made without knowing the power that we have from the Holy Spirit to carry them out. But I think there's something else missing as well, and here's what I think it is. I think what's missing is an examination of our entire lives, the ability to ask ourselves, why am I living the way I am? My name is Dr. John Neufeld. I'm your new Bible teacher here at Back to the Bible, and I just feel honored to be here. And I hope that down the road I'm going to get to know a lot of the listeners of Back to the Bible as well. But it is a delight to be your radio Bible teacher. I've been in pastoral ministry for over 30 years, and that time I've done everything from teaching at a Bible college. But what I love more than anything else is simply teaching the Bible. I love to follow the Bible through verse by verse, understand what it means, apply that to our lives. And here's the secret. If we do our Bible study right, there is a great reward. The reward is we're going to find Jesus. Remember what Jesus said? It was back in John 5:39, and he's having a dispute with the Pharisees. And he says to them, you search the Scriptures because you think that in them you have eternal life, and it is they that bear witness about me. So I think if we get back to the Bible, we're actually going to encounter Jesus himself. In a couple of weeks, I'm going to begin a lengthy series on the first few chapters of the book of Romans, and I'm going to call that series The Heart of the Gospel. But before I get there, because I'm relatively new at this microphone and because it is the beginning of a new year, I thought, it'd be great to talk about something that's consistent with the beginning of a new year. Not making New Year's resolutions, but how we live our lives. I want to speak about time, how we use it, and what it means. And I want the key verse to be from the book of Ephesians 5, verse 15 and 16. Let me read it to you. It says, look carefully then how you walk, not as unwise, but as wise, making the best use of the time because the days are evil. Now, those are two short verses. And the first question that obviously poses itself in the text like this are that the days are actually evil. Or we might ask ourselves, should I think that way? I mean, should I think about the year that's just gone by as an evil year, and the year to come, this is going to be a wicked year indeed? Well, that's a good question, and Paul does mean for us to answer that, and down the road, that's what we're going to look at. But before we do that, I want to notice a couple of words that Paul uses. He says, look carefully. And then he says, be wise. And then he says, use the time that you have as well as you can. Given that the days are evil, unless you use time wisely, disaster awaits you. So you see, that's why so many resolutions fail. It's because they don't address the wider issues of how we think about and how we use time. I notice that the Apostle Paul is deeply concerned about time because the words that he uses in Ephesians 5 are cautionary. I mean, they're filled with warning. He gives us the impression that so much is at stake here. And before I look at what that actually is, I think it might be worth our while to examine the concept of time. Let's understand, first of all, why time is so overwhelmingly precious. And I'm going to give you a number of reasons for that. Here's the first reason. Time is precious because it is a scarce commodity. It was Job in the Old Testament who is speaking about his suffering and how much his suffering had robbed him of meaningful time. And here's what he says in Job 9:25-26. My days are swifter than a runner. They fly away without a glimpse of joy. They skim past like boats of papyrus, like eagles swooping down on their prey. Now that's an incredible group of metaphors. And I want to concentrate on just one of them. I mean, can you imagine, in your own mind's eye, a rabbit in an open field noticing an eagle in the sky? The rabbit sees him and he needs to get to the other side of the field because that's where he has his hole, his place of safety. And so he makes a run for it, but it's too late. The eagle has seen him. Now, if only he could run faster. But the wings of the eagle are now tucked in close to his body, and the eagle bears down on the rabbit with ferocious speed, and the legs of the rabbit, though they're built for these tremendous thrusts forward, are no match for this majestic and terrible fury of the eagle. In an instant, imagine the eagle being upon that rabbit, and as hard as that rabbit has tried, he will not escape because he has been captured by a power that's greater than his own. Well, we can view time that way. When we're young, it seems like we're always going to escape the ravages of time. We're kind of like the rabbit who believes that the eagle that's circling in the sky is moving slowly, and if we run fast enough, we're going to escape. But there comes that time when that all is but an illusion. Time has moved more quickly than we expected, and a lot of people feel trapped. I remember having a conversation years ago with my mom, and she was still alive then, and sometimes she complained that time had passed her by so quickly. Now, of course, she's not the only elderly person that's ever said that, but I remember one conversation that I had with her that kind of shocked me. She told me that there were times when she thought about the life that she had lived. She said she'd sit in her house and she'd look at the four walls and the empty rooms where she used to raise her kids, and she'd wonder to herself, is it really true that I actually went through the experience of raising my four kids? She said it often seemed to her like only a fleeting dream, like a vapor. Could all of that experience of bearing the children and changing their diapers and feeding them and toilet training them and wiping away their tears and kneeling at the bedside beside them and teaching them how to pray and then sending them off to school and worrying about them and all the stuff that she did, she said, could it all have passed me by that quickly? How did my youth flee from me like Job's runner in the race? The odd thing about time is that it's so relative. We believe that we can actually measure it according to these digital increments we call seconds. And we know that each second is the exact same duration as any other second, yet, our experience militates against that. I mean, why is it that time seems to move more quickly when we get older? And why do so many of the elderly complain that suddenly their days skip by like Job's boats of papyrus driven on by a ferocious storm? For a while it seems in our lives as if the boats move slowly, and then as if by some misunderstood phenomenon, a wind blows up and the boats move forward with this ever-increasing speed. I mean, logically we say, it just can't be that way. Yet the experience in this matter is so pervasive. Everyone says it. You just can't ignore it. So Job goes on to say these words, and I'm reading from Job 16:22. He says, only a few days will pass before I go on the journey of no return. See, each of us should look into the future and see that death is actually rushing at us like an oncoming train. Soon it will be upon us and we will be no more. And the reason why time is so precious is because it is a scarce commodity. And as you and I know, any commodity that is scarce or limited is considered extremely valuable. And the scarcer it becomes, the more the value of the thing rises. That's why rare cars or rare paintings or rare minerals or rare anything carries with this great price. And that's exactly how the Bible invites us to think about time. Now, I'm going to give you a second reason why time is precious. It's not only precious because it's scarce, it's precious because it's uncertain how much time any of us actually has. Let's read from James 4:13 to 15. Now listen, you who say, today or tomorrow we'll go to this or that city and spend a year there, carry on business and make money. Why, you don't even know what will happen tomorrow. What is your life? You are a mist that appears for a little while and then vanishes. Instead, you ought to say, if it is the Lord's will, we will live and do this or that.
Thank you, Dr. John, for that meaningful message, helping us to understand the value of time. It is indeed such a blessing to realize that time is a precious commodity and it has to be used wisely. Join us again for tomorrow as Dr. John takes us through the series entitled The Time of Your Life on the topic, The Preciousness of Time. Back to the Bible, leading people into a dynamic relationship with God. We are excited to announce that Back to the Bible has launched a brand new website which offers all of our Bible teaching resources, including the on-air messages of Dr. John Neufeld, news about the ministry, our Bible teaching correspondent courses, an opportunity to receive our bi-monthly magazine, Confident Living. With the new website, there is never a reason to miss another Bible teaching message from Dr. John Neufeld. And you can order every program that you hear or complete Bible teaching series on CD. So why not visit backtothebible.in today. That is backtothebible.in. Or for more information, call us at 9492-440070. That is 9492-440070.